Hey everybody, this is BroncoJuggalo. Today we are visiting Scars of Dracula from 1970. Now this is the only one of the Dracula films I don't have a copy of. I do want to get the Scream Factory copy. This movie came under a lot of criticism when it came out. It was not liked, by the critics at least. Directed by Roy Ward Baker. I really enjoyed this film, honestly. Now, this is the second film that we got in 1970 for this franchise. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that they put out one too many too fast. The budget on this movie was £200,000. I don't know what it brought in the box office. Christopher Lee said that this was his least favorite of all the Dracula films he did. He didn't like the makeup. He didn't like the way they shot him. He didn't like the lighting. He didn't like his dialogue. He just didn't like this movie. This movie does not follow Taste the Blood of Dracula, which, if you'll recall, ends in a church. In this one, Dracula's remains are in his castle, inexplicably in his coffin, and a bat flies in and drips blood out of his mouth and resurrects Dracula. He then comes to battle with a young couple, looking for a lost friend. This movie was actually released as a double bill with Horror of Frankenstein. The only con I have for this movie is one that I do share with Christopher Lee is I didn't see the need for all the powdery makeup all over his face and his hair. I just didn't see the need for that. He didn't have that in any of the other Dracula movies, and I just didn't understand why they put it on him in this film. Now, on the flip side, we have a charming but very sadistic Dracula in this movie. I mean, this is a Dracula that goes on a stabbing frenzy on one of his victims. He literally just stabs the shit out of her. I mean, with a dagger. I mean, it's not the typical Dracula just sucked on her neck, until it killed her. I think he was just pissed. The cheesy fake bats. You think that would be a con, but it's really not. Those things are actually really fun to watch. And I just think that it adds to the overall aspect of this movie, the overall charm of this film, because it does represent a simpler time in cinema. And I just really thought it was cool.